You want a war? You're going to get one.
What was that? He had no time for one more play.
He had an opportunity to win that game at the end.
But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us.
I'm upset, but
the brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried.
Only Cowboys game.
You literally.
The brother screwed us. The brother screwed us. He had one man opportunity for one more play.
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, by the way, Kick Dick back here, and welcome to a early lunch, late breakfast, Wednesday for you guys, hanging out with Philly 500. What is going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Jay Tyler, what's going on? Dev, Rocco, my man, what's happening? Face, what's up? Donnie Ford, GP, yeah, Dallas stinks, they do. Face, No Name, Kyle, Kev, Eric. Thank you guys so much for being here. I did notice that our boy is live right now. One Nick Sirianni. We're gonna try to tap into that for a second if we can here. Let me see here if we can do it.
Obviously faith in the process that we have to get ourselves ready.
Not going to stay there long, but just want to see what he's saying, what he's talking about.
How did you envision Fred Johnson's role? And given the nature of that position, did you see a day where you would have to step in to start?
Yeah, I think that when you do talk about that, you look at past experiences and you show Fred playing really well against
talk about Fred
Cincinnati last year or whatever the game may be, and you say, hey, you're the next guy in or whatever.
All right, hold on. Let me get what I want.
Something like that.
That's what I wanted.
Be ready for when your number's called.
We'll see. We'll see, Nicky.
When that's going to be, and that's every backup. Every guy's one snap away from going in. And so, like I said, we have a lot of faith in him. There's a reason why we were putting him in to play in those big.
Let's talk about Fred Johnson. I don't want to leave it on too long. We'll kind of go back and forth. I always get worried that they get mad at me for doing that, and I'll get struck. Nick, thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. He said the reports are BS, basically. Yeah, well, I think he has to say that, and he would say that. I don't think he would tell you if it was straight up. But I think it's all overblown. It's just more overblown stuff by the that's out there. They're running out of stuff. Do you ever think that maybe they're just running out of stuff to come at us? We win every week. We win every week despite all these things. The Eagles, and I ask this, are they a glitch in the matrix? Are they an anomaly? Is it just one of these weird things where all the statistics and everything will go one way, but the Eagles will just continue to win? I mean, you got to wonder, don't you? Yeah, I agree. He's going to say that. Steve, what's going on, man? How are you? It came from the coach, in my opinion. I think it came from one of the coaching staff. I do too. Philly Rapture says, Nolan Smith pass rush, and that's how you neutralize. Yeah, we'll be all right. Listen, the Eagles just got to go in, take the game seriously, play up to their potential, no letdown, because a lot of times when you play lesser teams, it's easy to have a letdown, especially when you've had two huge games in which, basically they were big playoff implications. So to me, it's just like, nah, you have to be ready when you play these crappy teams. You can't overlook them. Now I can overlook them, but we can't. Well, Steve says, let me super chat you from my crash out, Kev. The other, so you got multiple names, okay? The people's chant. What's going on? He said, these are the Eagles' golden years. They are. These MFers are really hyping up being the Raiders. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's true. Author says, all I know is I'm going to glitch if we don't put up at least 30 against them. I'm not worried about that. I just want to win. Just win, take care of business. You know what I mean? I think if we win this week, and I think the Rams, if they lose, and I think the Rams are going to lose. The Eagles will be 1.5 games up at number 1 seed. Just got to take care of business, man. This is the game that is like a letdown game, right? They've struggled playing where they're playing in Dallas. They've struggled in years past playing there. So you just can't have a letdown like in that Thursday night versus Giants game. You got to go out and you got to just take care of business. If they do that, they'll beat this team. You know, that's the big thing we got to worry about when you play these lesser teams. Latoya Smith says, Sill's opinion is that the organization hires coaches for Nick and not for Jalen. If so, why not invest in development of a quarterback you're paying $50 million to? I don't understand. I don't necessarily agree with him, you know. I don't agree with it. I do think when you win a Super Bowl and you're a head coach, I do think that they got to give you something. And if you want somebody as the offensive coordinator, I could see the Eagles doing it. But look at the decision that Howie made for the defensive coordinator. That was all Howie. You know, that was all Howie getting Vic Fangio. And look at the defensive staff you got. You know, you got a hell of a defensive line coach, hell of a linebacker coach, hell of a secondary coach. And they're really good. Chris Melnick, man, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. He goes, hey, Philly, I think the coaching staff is messing around us. I think in the playoffs it'll be a new offense because the players are going to take over the playoffs, I hope. Well, I think you're going to see way more RPOs in the playoffs, you know. I do it. And thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Let's see here. If they don't get it together, Cowboys are going to blow us out. How much play? It's great. They've done a good job playing us in their stadium. For whatever reason, we haven't played great there. But we can't have a letdown. Maybe all this controversy, maybe it's good because maybe it keeps us like hungry and not reading our own press clippings about how great we are. Major Pace, I hate Sirianni. Oh man. Philly Dallas has much better defense now. I hate using that word Dallas, but yeah, I mean they played one game versus the Raiders. How we can't make that? We can't know that right now. I mean they've got to be better on one end because they upgraded with a player, but you know, Nick, thank you for super chat. He goes, what if Patullo is the leaker to cover his own ass? Thank you for super chat. It'd be interesting. That's for sure. It would be interesting. Let's tap in to see what Nick's talking about here. See what Nick is talking about, and I'll try to catch up to his chat here because I'm a little behind.
Identified what it is, and how can you guys kind of break that tendency
of going 3 and out or being backed up?
Going 3 and out when we're backed up.
Yeah. You know, I think that there are common themes. Obviously, won't get into the specifics there, but
of course he won't. He never does.
In 3rd and long. I've been saying that all year. When you're in,
you can't be 3rd and long.
It's harder to convert it, obviously, than 3rd
True.
and 2 to 6 or 2 to 5 or whatever it is. And so it's being efficient on those plays and eliminating some of the things that put you in the hole. You know, whether that's a penalty, whether that's a negative play. And again, when I say those things, I'm looking at everybody. It's the play call. It's the execution. It's everything. And so,
all right. So he's talking about penalties. Yeah, we'll talk about it because I do think that in all seriousness, like, yes, you can't have you can't have the amount of penalties that they have. They have way too many penalties. Crash Out Kev, man, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, I got to show you support. I'm from Philly. I live in Chester, like 16 minutes from the link. Got to support you. Love the content. Keep up the great work. Oh, man, Crash Out Kev, man. I appreciate you, man, so much. Thank you, man. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much, man. Shane says, please stream the Thanksgiving games. Go Birds Fly, Mother Humpers Fly. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I haven't decided. You got so who plays? You got Green Bay, Detroit early, and then you got Kansas City and Dallas in the afternoon, and there's a late game. I won't do the late game, but I'm thinking about the first two. I'm actually thinking about maybe I'll just do the Detroit Green Bay because that game's way more important for us. Philly Rapture says, saying that offense makes a lot of money is such a bad take. That's the cost of doing business in the NFL. If Howie could get away with paying players less, he would. They get paid to win, and they win. Yeah, I mean, I get it. We all want to see more production from the offense, but, you know, it's just not happening. You know, and the question is how much can actually change from now till the playoffs? Man, Tight, thank you for super chat. He goes, Cowboy games worries me a bit. Defense has got it, but the offense is a train wreck. Got to be able to score. Yeah, you're gonna have to be able to score, and I get it, man. It's a letdown. You know, it's a setup for a letdown type game, especially after two emotional wins. You're playing a team that's not really good. Yeah, you got to take care of business. And over the course of 10 years, you haven't really played well there. So yeah, it's something that they've got to be ready for. There's no doubt. But like I said, if they just go out and they play their game, I think they're going to win. I think the offense is going to be much better this week. Goose Neck says, Philly 500, always overconfident as usual. He never thinks the Eagles will lose anyone. According to him, they will win every game. Well, that's not true. I've picked against the Eagles before, but, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with me when the Eagles are what? How many wins have we had over the last 3 years, 4 years? I mean, it's not like I'm wrong. They've only been to 2 Super Bowls and won one, so it's not like I'm wrong. And if you really believe that you have a team that can win a Super Bowl, then what you're saying is that you believe every week they can beat anybody that they play. I don't think that's insane. Trey Brown, thank you for the super chat. This is the best defense Dak has ever faced from Philadelphia, including 2017. Jalen will hear the noise and deliver. More blame needs to be on Nick. Well, I think you're right about the blame on Nick. I do, because I think it's his offense. You know, I think it's his system. And I think Patullo's to blame too. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of blame to go around. A lot of blame. Trey, thank you for the super chat. King George, what's going on? He goes, up Philly. As of today, I don't feel good about this game in Dallas, but I don't think the Cowboys put up points, which will force our offense to have to kick it into gear finally. Well, that's the one thing. They always kick it into gear. It seems like a lot of people are worried about this game. I get it. Everybody's worried about the letdown. Yeah, it happens. You know, letdowns happen. But, you know, you're not playing a team that's as good as you. So, like I said, if you play up to your potential, you'll win. Chef says, yo, Philly, I think Ben getting hurt opening kickoff first game of the season screwed us. Those inside run zones are made for fullbacks to go and block. Yeah, but I mean, how many times were they really going to use a fullback? Like, I don't think, and I get what you're saying, but I don't think he would have gotten more than 5 to 10 snaps at most a game. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. The Eagles win, they could sit everybody for the last 7 weeks and still win the division. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. Blah, blah, blah. We're 8-2. It's Kelly Green week. Yes, a Kelly Green week. Arthur says, shut the F up. Who, me? Me? What did I do? KSF, thank you for the super chat. It's the offensive coordinator and Parks, Frazier. That's bad, not Hurts. Jay So Cool says, this is so bad that we're going to end up losing A.J. Brown in the offseason. Maybe. Well, maybe. We'll see. Doomsday Corner Sports says, what up, 500? Keep it the great one. Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. This year's collapse is going to be worse than 2023. I don't think the Eagles will have a collapse. I don't think there's any collapse. I will say this, though. For the Eagles, I think more than any other team, I think home field advantage is a must. Okay? Because the one thing we've seen in these cold weather games, that the great equalizer to these passing offenses and great offenses is weather. It's weather. And if you're playing outside, and the Eagles could fix the run game, because I think the biggest problem and the biggest issue going forward is you've got to get your run game going, because that's what's going to be important when the playoffs start. Ghostface Digital, what's going on? Jay So Cool, man, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, because Patullo, we're going to end up losing A.J. Brown. I don't know. I really don't know, man. You know, the A.J. Brown situation is interesting, and I'm more open to moving on from him than I was a few weeks ago. Not because of anything he did, but just because of who we need to sign. Chuck says, anticipate the RPOs in the playoffs for sure. It's going to open up a ton of opportunities. Nevertheless, we should have this ball moving around, and I don't get how there's zero rhythm even against bad teams. Yeah, I don't get it either, man. I'm watching the all 22s of the Green Bay game. I just got through the first quarter. And the one thing is, man, there's so many different things that you can blame. From penalties, like on one play, Hurts doesn't throw early enough. He holds the ball too long. Then there's another play where nobody's open. The routes stink. They're all congested. Then you get a situation where you get a penalty called, and it brings it back. And it's like, you know, then they run the ball, and there's just nowhere to run. It's like, you know, and then when there is somewhere to run, Barkley's now shuffling. So I just think that there are way too many mistakes all over. And I blame coaches for that. I do. Bud says, first 2026 mock draft, the ESPN has the Eagles taking Jeremy Bernard, wide receiver, Alabama. Interesting. Let's see here. Jesse Davis, what's going on, buddy? He says, we got 5 turnovers on downs at midfield and did nothing with it. Lions defense is middle of the pack statistically. It cannot happen this week. Cowboys can score. We need to score too. But I would say Detroit's offense is way better than Dallas' offense. However, there's no weather factor, right? This is indoors, so it's going to be easier for their offense. Yeah, the Eagles, they got to be better. You can't not. And that was my big complaint, right? The Cooper DeJean interception. He gets an interception. I think you have it was first down at the 11. And you kick a field goal at the 8. Like, that's unacceptable. You know? However, you know, we can talk about this stuff every week. All week, all year, we talk about the Eagles don't do this. The Eagles don't do that. Yeah, but they go out and they beat everybody. I mean, I don't think that's lucky. I don't. I just think this team, they make the clutch plays at the clutch time offensively. You know, Brandon, thank you for Super Chat. Would you trade AJ for Jefferson Strip? Yes, I would, but that'll never happen. Fabio, thank you for the Super Chat. Watch AJ routes this season. He hurt or not trying? I think he's hurt. Because there is times where he don't look right. I agree. I can't believe Mark Holmes said everyone gets up to play the Cowboys because they're America's team. Yeah, there was a lot of delusions going on over there. The defense beats everybody and carrying Hurts again like 22, 24, 25. But that's not really true. What is the Eagles' defensive rank? The Eagles' defense is ranked 17. Okay? When you look at early in the season, right? And we do this. We do this all the time. We look at the last game or 2 previous games, and then we forget everything that happened prior. For the first part of this season, when the Eagles were 4-0, that defense wasn't playing good. We couldn't get a sack. We couldn't get to the quarterback. And it was the offense that was pulling out games for us, specifically Jalen Hurts. And I can even show you clips where I remember going on Sill's show on Jacob Media, and, as hard as they are on him, I can remember 4-0 and him saying the Eagles wouldn't be 4-0 out Jalen Hurts. So we can't just dismiss that. We can't just dismiss it. Manny Rose says Patullo and Sirianni is problem morons. Yeah, I don't know why you have to call people morons because people have a different opinion than you. It's kind of weak ass, to be honest. Nick Davis super chat. Dallas O-line isn't that good. Gotta get Dak a lot. Yeah, of course. We'll be talking about that. Lions Den. What's up, Lions Den, man? It's good to see you. He says, plus we own the tiebreaker with the Rams to get the number 1 seed. Exactly. You own the number 1 seed, dude. I mean, that's huge. Matter of fact, let's bring this up right now. Here is the current playoff picture situation for the Eagles. The Eagles are the 1 seed, and can you guys see this? Okay. The 2 seed are the Rams. The 3 seed are the Bears. The 4th seed is the Bucs, and then you have 5th seed being Seattle, 6th seed being Green Bay, 7th seed being the Niners. Now in this situation, the Eagles would have a bye week, and they would play the worst seed. So you figure Tampa would probably win. Green Bay, Chicago. I'm not so sure Chicago would lose that game, but we'll say Chicago would win. So the Eagles would look like they would play probably first round Tampa Bay. Now you're going to play Tampa Bay coming to Philly, different game in January. That's why home field advantage, in my opinion, is so dang important, because the Eagles cannot afford, especially if you're struggling offensively, you want the home field advantage. Let me see. Here, where was I? I feel like I'm getting behind, and I apologize. A Philly girl, thank you for the super chat. Can't wait to see Jalen Carter versus Dak go Birds. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Carter should be up for this game. This could be a 2-sack game for Carter. I'm expecting big thing. And, congratulations. I think Jordan Davis, did he just win Defensive Player of the Week in the NFC? Congratulations. But I can't wait to see it either. And shout out to you, and thank you for the super chat, Philly girl. Fly Parks, thank you for the super chat. He goes, with all this drama, 500, your channels has got me through the ups and downs. Always love that content. Stay blessed, my brother. Thank you, Fly Parks. Man, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot to me. I do, because I know my opinion's not always the most popular one, but I appreciate it. Trey Diesel, man, thank you for the super chat. Xander was bashing Hurts this morning. Who even is that guy? What is his credentials that we should consider your opinion on sports? I don't like him. He was crying like a little bitch. Trey Diesel, thank you for the super chat. Now I've gotten to know him. Well, I wouldn't say know him a little bit, but we've worked together stuff. I think he's a great guy. I do. I think he's a good guy. I don't agree with his opinion on Hurts, but here's the funny thing about the whole thing with Hurts, but I think he's a good guy. But I understand people don't like the opinion, but from what I could tell, everything I've gotten to know about him, I think he's a good dude, man. I do. But I separate people's opinions from necessarily, who they are. But I'll say this. It's funny to me. I was listening to them yesterday, and they were doing top 10 rankings on quarterbacks. I think Sills had Jalen Hurts ranked 8th, and he had him 10. Now, I think that's way too low for both those guys. But for all the complaints that we're talking about and they're doing about Jalen Hurts, you still rank him in your top 10. You're still putting him in the top 10. And then if you even carry that even further, it has to make you wonder, like, who gets complaint complaints to the level he does and still get ranked in the top 10. So, sometimes I think people are just overboard with the Jalen Hurts hate, But Dre Diesel, man, thank you for super chat, man, and of course I respect your opinion. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out. I feel like I'm so far behind in this chat. Did I not put this thing on whatchamacallit? James, thank you for super chat, my man. Hire an older offensive coordinator that has no ambitions to be a head coach, problem solve, too much turnover. Yeah, or a guy who's like needs 2-3 years, But I totally get it, Manny Russell says Hurts having a problem because the offensive coordinator, he's different. No, you're right. I agree with you. Like I agree with you. I do. But that's like the one thing that you really can't fix right now. So, we talk about the offensive coordinator, like they're not going to change offensive coordinators right now. So that's an all-season issue. So how do you fix and what can you fix to get better now? To me, the offense has to be better than it's been in the playoffs. And I think it will be. However, there are things that they can do, like cut down on the penalties. That would be nice. Get the running game going. And to me, that's the single most important thing. The offensive line has not been good. It hasn't been good. Major Payment, thank you for the super chat. He goes, Cowgirls are a hype. Cowgirls hype, a tie, and a being a 2-win team. Yeah, I know. But they can live in their delusional world. What I'm focused on is what you see right here. The playoff picture and that one seeding. And to me, you got a letdown game this week. Then you got a big game versus the Bears. And then you've got more letdown games pretty much the rest of the year. So we've got to just make sure that we play up to our standards. Dre Diesel, man, and Major Payment, thank you so much for super chat. And Dre Diesel says, bro, you should go back and watch the shit from this morning. He was crying. Okay, I'll check. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I was busy since 5 a.m., so I haven't had a chance. Frylix says the paradox of our season is we need to play time of possession to keep our defense at prime from each game. Yet our star-studded offense cannot sustain first half drives ending in points. Yeah, it's got to be better. And I really think they've got to make an effort to get this run game going. Like, I think that's the key. Because, as you know, when the playoffs start, all these teams that throw 40 times a game and put up these huge, giant passing numbers, that all comes way, way down. And it's about not turning the ball over. It's about sustaining drives. It's about, scoring touchdowns in the red zone, not field goals. And it's about running the ball and playing good defense. So I don't think it's as, some people think we're in dire straits here. I don't think that at all. I'm actually really excited about where we're going to be and where we're going. Cheryl says, Cowboy fans are always delusional. Always very delusional. Like, I think Mark did a video yesterday where he says he's not going to talk shit about the Eagles and all this stuff, and he's not taking a bait. But while he did that, the whole video, he trashed the Eagles. It was like, what? Nice to see Kansas City missing the playoffs for once. Yeah, I still not convinced that's going to happen. And we got 587 people in the chat. Only 135 likes. Oh, man, you're killing me. They're bending me over to the couch and throttling me. Truth Addiction says 500. Jalen has taken the role of the fathers whose sons are never good enough. Sons being the receiver. You think it's that bad, man? Oof. I don't know, man. I don't know. Big Dog says, why does Cam Newton hate on the Eagles so much? Said he was never seen an offense like Detroit. But when they lost, he wants to say that the PI is the reason they lost. I think he doesn't like them because I think he's a little jealous of Jalen Hurts. And then there was he had Hurts on his show, And Hurts said something about, like, not crying. And I think he took that offensively, you know. Aaron, what's going on? Different caller, they play caller every year. It really does. Charlie, I totally agree. It is a problem. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, James agree. BA says, a green superintendent once told me, respect your opinion no matter how wrong it is. That's a perfect statement, right? Unpredictable Tony says, those blocks by Davis won the game, so did another time. I hope we crash out just for the spite at this point. Man. How about Jordan Davis, man? Wow, Jordan Davis is like a... Dude, he's a Pro Bowl defensive tackle. Author says, guys like Pumper and Sills keep Hurts sharp and hungry, so if it's anything, they're helping us. Yeah, you're right about that. He always seems to do better. You know what I mean? When he always seems to do better when people go after him. Bud says, I want the Rams passing coordinator, Nate Shieldhouse, as our next. That sounds interesting. I would not be opposed to that. You know? Rhino says, who had the lead when the blocked field goal happened, Tony? How did we get that lead? Yeah, we had the lead. That's right. Ryan said, oh, I read that one. Drew, what's going on, my man? He goes, hey, Philly, yes, we do need a better offense. Yeah, I agree. There's just some things, though, you can't fix until the offseason. And then there are some things that I think you can fix now. So we got to concentrate, they got to concentrate on fixing the issues and things they can fix now. I think they should, I think Lampkin, if he's healthy, I would strongly consider giving him an opportunity. Like, I think that center play hasn't been good. Tough had a decent game versus, like, the Giants and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, you got a tough matchup this week with Dallas's defensive tackles. They're good. And you're playing with a backup center. So that's a challenge, you know. Fabio David Super Chat. That gets stats on bad defense through his career. No, parts of his career. The last few years, that's been the case. But they had, arguably, for the first 4 or 5 years of career, they had one of the most talented teams year after year. They just came up short. You know, and that's the thing. Some guys just raise their game, raise their level in big situations. I think Hurts does that, and that's probably his biggest strength. You know, why is it they could struggle in a passing situation all game, but then when you need that one drive, he makes the passes he has to make? That's how you rack up the amount of wins that you've racked up. Evan says, can't wait to see how this defense puts pressure on Dak after getting zero pressure the first game. Gobert. Yeah, I think it'll be night and day difference, you know? Yeah, Hurts did play bad last week, bro. No question about it. I think the last 2 weeks he played bad, you know? And I am not by any means saying he didn't. I thought he did play bad. And I do think, you know, a lot of people say that he doesn't play good in cold weather. I'm starting to wonder if there's some truth to that. Because I think about some of the games in the cold, right? The Rams game last year, well, there was snow there, and he hurt his knee. But that playoff game, you had the Chicago Bears one a few years ago. You know, I kind of wonder about that. Well, I missed the first part of that, Joseph Franklin. What was it? I'd like to read and hear your opinion. Let's see. I think Pumper's funny, man. I think he's so funny. He's so obsessed with Tanner McKee. I think it's hilarious. Let's go, Philly says, offense needs to get on track. We can't go into playoffs with an incompetent offense. Getting worried at this point. Yeah, I am too, because I feel like at this point, I feel like, it's not a situation where they just haven't played a lot of football. It's like preseason. No, we're late enough now that they should be better. So I do worry about the offense. That's why I say that you have to win home field advantage. They need home field advantage. That's a great neutralizer for them. And then they got to improve their offense. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you think the single most important thing on offense to change things right now? What has to get better? That's what I want to know. Oh, there he is. Corporate Brian Pumper's here. What is up, Corporate Brian Pumper? How's the corporation going? Thank you for the super chat. Our Eagle fan base needs balance. Overly positive fans give us real educated Eagle historians a bad name. Trey Turner standing O. Fans make me sick. Hey, Pumper, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? He does perform best. And thank you for that super chat, by the way. Eagles need to stop running up the middle. Wizard King says, can't get moments back. Enjoy it. Yeah, man, you're right about that. That's true. Martin says, Philly, you think Nick should take over play calling? He sucks at that. Yeah, but he can't be worse than KP. No, I don't think Nick should. See, I think part of this problem, I know everybody blames Patullo, and I know that he's very accountable for a lot of it. But also, you got to remember, they're all running basically what Nick wants them to run. So I think Nick is I look at Nick and Kevin as one and the same when it comes to offensive coordinator almost. I don't think there's a lot of deviation. Because remember, he was like Nick Sirianni's special assistant. Wasn't he his like offensive assistant last year? Let's see. Kyle, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, Philly, my coworkers were hyping Cowboys win. I told them you beat stinking Raiders. Whoopie effing do. Yeah, I know. You just, it is what it is with them at this point. The thing is with us is we've got a big game coming up on Black Friday. I think that's a really important game, as you see. If you guys want me to take this playoff picture thing down, let me know. But I think that that game on Black Friday is a huge game. And then I think, you're just coming off 2 wins, especially defensively, where you were lights out against 2 really good teams. So you can't have a letdown against a bad opponent. Like one of the 2 losses the Eagles had was losing to the Giants. Why did they lose to the Giants? Because they weren't ready to play. And they got to make sure that they're ready to play this week versus Dallas. Because you got a team that's not as talented or as good as you. And, they're hoping that you have a letdown. But, yeah, it's not a big deal. That wasn't I don't think that was a great win. Isaiah says, it sucks because Nick is a good coach, but he can't call plays to save his life. We may need a new head coach if we can't find an offensive coordinator that can cook and doesn't have head coach aspirations. Yeah, look, I think that Nick is for the most part, I think he's a decent head coach, but I would keep him away from play calling. I agree. I don't think he should be near it. And there's many coaches that don't do it, but I think what we're seeing is, I think that he put a guy in place that he could basically be like a front man for. And then Nick would still have control and some say of what kind of offense they run. Of course, Patullo calls a play or whatever, but what, the boundaries of that playbook it's Nick. And Nick's not wrong. You win the tournament. Like, I always say this, Jalen Hurts plays playoff football. Eagles play playoff football. When the playoffs start, teams are going to come and be more like the Eagles. The Eagles aren't going to be more like other teams. You're going to have to run the ball. You're going to have to not turn over the ball, and you're going to have good defense. Those are the things you have to do. That's why, to me, when we talk about the offense, the single biggest thing that has to be fixed before going into playoffs is you have to start running the ball effectively. They have to. And that means not doing running the same spot every single time. It means giving Bigsby more carries, and maybe changing that lineup a little bit on the line. Try Lampkin, put him at center. Let's see what he can do. Man, I feel like I'm so far behind on this. Let's see here. I'm gonna catch up to this chat really quick, guys. I'm sorry, I'm so far behind. I'm just a stupid man. Rocky David Super Chat. The NFC will still run through Philly. That's all I'm gonna say. And to me, that's a trip to the Super Bowl. I really think if they have that, it's a trip. Fabio David Super Chat. We have the defense to take more risks on offense. Yeah, I agree. Dyrose Tube, thank you for the Super Chat. He goes, we need to learn to win and have fun. Yes. Corporate Brian Pumper, thank you for the Super Chat. Philly, how can these casuals say that Tanner is a statue when Jalen Hurts can't move himself? But he is moving in quicksand, so no drop off with Tanner. Well, I just want to know how do you know that he's the guy? Based upon what we've seen, how could you possibly know it? Is it just that you want a different style quarterback, or do you think Tanner McKee is that guy? Now, I like McKee, but I can't say he's the guy yet, Lucius the Show, thank you for Super Chat. 500, let me disagree. No problem, man. Under Nick, play calling the passing game was explosive. The drawback is that he didn't run the ball. Maybe with Barkley he will. What part do you think was explosive? Like, when do you think it was? Because what I remember is them really taking the power for him to call plays away, remember, and give it to Steichen. And that's when Hurts had his best season. Then he kind of took it back, and then they got more. And if you look at Kellen Moore and his offense with Knicks, remember what they said? They said that Kellen was going to take elements, and this is what they said, elements of his playbook and what he does, and incorporate into Knicks' offense. And that's what they did. So I think Nick has a lot more control over the offense, But hey, I mean, we'll see, All right, I'm going to catch up to this chat. So anything I miss, put it back in. You've been doing this since 84. You're an old man now. We scored a lot in the first quarter. He throws the ball way too much. Need good mix. Tanner can make every throw and run a complete offense. That's all. I like Tanner. But I just think we need more of a sample size. And I just don't know how you put him in without causing big problems, unless something happens to Hurts, which God forbid I don't want to happen. Marcus says, Philly 444, Nick is messing up everything. I honestly think KP calls plays. We do better, but Nick is calling. You think Nick's calling? See, I don't think Nick's calling the plays, but I think he's helping with the installation. Offense needs to scheme short passes, plays to mix it up. Yeah, I think short passes are fine, I think if the Eagles can keep themselves in third and short, especially in the playoffs when they start adding the RPOs back in, they'll keep a lot of drives going. Logan Motorsports says, Philly, Mark just uploaded a video about you. See you later, Philly. I'm at speech therapy. Good go. He did a video about me? All right, let me see. Let's see what it says. Let's see. Philly 500 got jokes on Cowboys. Keep it up. Should we watch this video or not? I'll let you guys decide. 1, if I should play the video, or 2, if I shouldn't. Oh, Trago says, why am I seeing there's a rat in the locker room and saying Hurts is Wentz 2.0? Yeah, I don't know if the person said that he was 2.0, but I think Derek insinuated it. It's not Hurt. It's not Wentz 2.0. Yeah, I think this thing is way overblown. Like, okay, do the players get frustrated when they miss plays and stuff like that? Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't? But I think they take a grain of truth here or there and they sprinkle into this thing that it is not. McKee is what you want, accurate, decisive, willing to throw. Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's definitely got the talent and stuff like that. But when you get on the field in the NFL and you play, then we know. Then we'll find out. All these people hate on Hurts. I bet if he goes to Super Bowl and wins, they will able to on his nuts. Of course. Like I said, Silvio had him ranked the eighth top quarterback in the NFL. I mean, it's like the 28th quarterback in the NFL don't get the scrutiny he does. Lucius, thank you for super chat, my man. Appreciate it. He goes, one example, 2021 versus Kansas City. Hurts threw 421 and 2 touchdowns. Okay, so I'm trying to go back. They lost that game, right? They got blown out. That was when, was that his rookie? Yeah, I mean, look, I definitely think Hurts could throw the ball better than people think he can. And I definitely think, you got issues. But the philosophy of the Eagles is do not turn over the ball and let your defense win the game and make a few plays where you have to on offense. But we're not going to take any risks unless we need to. And that's their philosophy. Mike says, I'm not saying McKee should start, but I would be lying if I said it wasn't curious to see how offense would look with him. I think a lot of us are tired of same old Nick and Jalen. I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. And that's fair. That's fair. But it's just, it's just not really realistic because you can't bench Jalen Hurts. I mean, that would cause way more problems. And he doesn't deserve to be benched. 2 Super Bowls and a Super Bowl win in 3 years. 40-2 record. I mean, listen what we're talking about, everybody. A 40-2 record when we don't turn a ball over, and we're winning a lot of games. It's crazy. It really is crazy, and that's why I think that there's just way too much unnecessary drama. Yeah, there are definitely problems on offense, and there's definitely things they can fix. But I don't think it's like the league, the locker room is fractured or there's all these problems. Like, I think that's all overblown. I just think they're running out of things to go after us for. Let me catch up here. Man, I'm so far behind today. Finally, that's a Howie Roseman stat. What is winning? Winning. Listen, winning is the most important statistic of them all. Is it not? 500. What's up, Twits? He goes, what up, 500? I think the organization took Jalen's legs away after multiple concussions and the issues protecting their investment, making him less effective. He's the best when he's dual. I agree. 1,000%. I agree with you, Twits. And I think, I really think they're going to unleash that. Just because of hearing some insinuations, I think they're going to unleash that when Jalen, when Jalen gets to the playoffs. Man, I just got this splitting headache all of a sudden. Let me see. Winning it is not just a Howie Roseman stat. It's literally the whole point of playing the game. Thank you. I guess everybody forgot about the second game against Washington last season. 30-plus points and 5 takeaways, still lost. That's the one where Hurts got hurt, right? See, that's the one. That's the game that I think is why we're not seeing the RPOs like we have in the past. And I think they're going to unleash it in the playoffs. I do. I think they're going to unleash it, and the offense is going to look completely different, and they're going to bury teams. Baron, what's going on? part 11. What happened the first 10? I didn't see the first 10. Penalties, stalled drives, and brought back big plays and run line pass. Lions took advantage of with our shaky O-line. Lions were creative with their looks on defense, showing heavy blitz packaging linebackers out. Yeah, and they do that. Penalties have been killing us. We take way too many penalties on offense. Trey says, I feel like Jalen Hurts can be a better passer, but I don't think he's confident in himself enough to unlock his game fully. But with that being said, he knows exactly what he needs to do to win the game. Yeah, I pretty much agree. I definitely think he could be a better passer. And I think he waits sometimes and he holds the ball. And I think it's so ingrained in him not to turn over the ball that he doesn't throw it unless it's wide open. I mean, there were a couple plays. I've only watched the all-22 in the first quarter, but there are times where it's like, you got to just let it rip. And he holds on too long. And the guy's open for that second. If you deliver it on time, but he waits. Philly, the offense is getting real concerning for me. I don't understand why we don't utilize the middle field. Yeah, that's a problem we've had. We've had that. We've been talking about the middle field for 2-3 years. Yeah, no Hurts, no win. See, that's what I think. I think when everybody talks about what Hurts does better than anybody else, he wins. And I say that not in a cocky way. I say that it's just he seems to raise his level, even if it's dry. It could be from one drive to the other, from one play to the other. He just makes the play when you need it made, and he always seems to do it. And that's why I think the offense, I think they should give him more opportunities to throw the ball and to take chances. And I think that, I'm not saying overdo it, but just a little bit. And I think it would help a lot. Guys are concerned about how the win looks like are the same ones who like to impress other men by what they wear. I never thought of it like that. Did you hear what Mark said about you in the video? I didn't hear it, man. No, I'll have to check it out. If you guys want me to put it on, I will. Aaron says, I'm about to watch the video of Mark. My geez, AJ's recovering hammy. Team wins. Well, I can put it on. Put it on. We'll put a little bit of it on. Let me get it here. I don't know why he's coming at me. He just said that the Eagles should leave him alone. Eagle fans should leave him alone. He ain't gonna talk. He don't want to deal with it. So why come at me? I'm just talking about the Eagles. All right, let's see what this guy is going to say. I'm a little curious. Well, not really. I kind of already know. I kind of always get what he's trying to do. Let's see here. All right. And somehow it'll be something I did or something I said wrong or whatever. I didn't do anything. All right. Do you guys see this? Let's see what this moron has to say.
What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally
Can you guys hear it?
This is the week formerly known as Hate Week. I'm going to call it Cowboys, Eagles, Try and Save a Season Week. This would go a long way to at least making you feel better about the direction of the Cowboys, and maybe, no, it won't shut up those blowhards. It just won't. They're going to talk. They're going to call us a bunch of crybabies. They're going to say it's just regular season. It doesn't mean anything. You know that's how it is. And Philly 500, we've got the Dan Salio show today at 4. 30. Tune in. I've got a special treat for everybody there. I think probably what we're all thinking right now. But Philly 500, he's got jokes. He's got jokes. Let's go to the tape here because he is literally bitch slapping us. Let's go to it.
That I really fear for the Eagles comes from
What did I do?
You by the way, kick things back here, and what a time to be an Eagle fan. You're
that true?
sitting at 8-2 after beating the Detroit Lions with an all-world Super Bowl caliber
wrong?
defense, and you're looking at the best is yet to come.
UDT,
because
man,
the
thank you for
Eagles
super chat.
control
I
their own
appreciate it.
destiny,
Defense
are
with
in
Super
first
Bowl.
place,
Hell yeah.
and are a #1 seed in the conference.
I don't know.
It doesn't get better than this, doesn't it? Well, you know what?
Professor
It
Hammond,
always
David
seems like
Super
there's
Chat.
something going
He
on.
does kind of
There's
look
some
like
sort of
Brady from San
controversy.
Francisco. I'm
and
telling
right
you, he
now,
reminds me of
the
Brady.
whole offense and everything going on with the offense seems to be the problem.
What am I
Now,
doing wrong?
Before we get into it, a few things we got to talk about. First thing, this came out yesterday. Eagles offensive tackle Lane Johnson is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks after suffering a Liz Frank sprain. Now, it sucks to lose Lane Johnson 4 to 6 weeks. It does. I hate it. We know how much difference this offensive line is when he's out there on the field. And here's what I'll say. It compounds all the offensive problems we've already had. Now we got to deal with this as well.
What am I doing wrong?
So thank God the Eagles got Fred Johnson back. Thank God Howie went and did that because I think he's capable at replacing him for 4 to 6 weeks. And I wish Lane nothing but the best, speedy recovery. You know, and the good news is that, and there, you know, there's not really good news with an injury, but at least it's not for the season and it doesn't require surgery. We are going to get Lane Johnson back in time for the playoffs. And maybe he comes back, his Liz Frank injury is healed. Maybe he's more fresh, and maybe it actually benefits the Eagles in the playoffs because you have an older veteran didn't have to play the rest of the season until the playoffs. So maybe in some weird way it could benefit us. I'm just trying to think positive about the situation. Obviously, I don't want Lane to ever be out or hurt.
He's literally just using my video
and we wish him nothing but the best.
I'm gonna copy
now. We got a huge game coming up. We got a monster game coming up, okay? And people can't look at this game and think it's not a big deal. I'm going to be busy. It's not a big deal. We'll be all right. This is a huge game because this is another chance for the Eagles to go out and beat a team.
You see him showing Cowboy highlights, right? You see him showing Cowboy highlights.
Dude,
he's trying to build this thing up, right? You see him building it up.
Team that is a legitimate playoff contender, and this team is now a playoff contender. I'm sorry, especially after this weekend, they showed it. If you look at the playoff picture, and if you look at it, right, the Eagles are currently the #1 seed. They have the same record as the Rams, but they've got the tiebreaker, and they've got one less conference loss. So Eagles are 1 seed. You have the Rams a 2 seed, and the team and the game I'm talking about is the Chicago Bears game. That Chicago Bears game, Eagles Bears, is huge because the Bears, they got 7 wins,
game,
and they're a 3 seed. Now you may not think that they're for real, they're going to finish or win that division, but no matter what, they're a 3 seed. Dangerous. So the Eagles.
You see what he did there, right? In fact, I'm happy about this, Philly. I'm happy that you're looking past the Cowboys and thinking they're nobody, that the Cowboys don't matter. Oh, wait, or is this a bye week for you guys? Or as somebody used to call it, oh, the Cowboys, they're just a tune-up. They're just a tune-up, man. It doesn't matter, you know, that we're playing the Cowboys. So they're just, you know,
oh my God,
the pile of dog shit that we're going to go ahead and go through.
So predictable.
You know what? I hope that you guys are sleeping on the Cowboys. You know, you guys are the same team that lost to the Giants. You understand that, right? You understand that, right? Now, I'm not going to say that you guys aren't a good team, because you are. You are a very, very good team. Now, here's the thing. I'm looking here. I'm double checking here. I got to actually go to the dentist today.
I do think the
But
Bears
of teams that have scored points. Now I'm going to say to you that the offense that we have now versus the offense that we had then, I think is a lot better. I'm just saying that. But when I look at teams that you have faced, your defense has been elite. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You guys have been balling and against great teams. But the Cowboys, they did score 20 points against you on that vaulted defense. 20? When I look at it with other teams, I mean, the Chiefs scored 17. The Rams, I think, are the high score. They scored 26.
The Chiefs, the Packers.
Oh, no. The Buccaneers did score 25, although some of that was garbage time.
He said garbage time.
For the most part, people ain't scoring points on you. This Dallas Cowboy team, I think they're going to be able to score some points on you. And the defense, yeah, I know. We were just playing against, the Raiders. But I think this defense, with your offense struggling
right now,
I think that they'll be able to hold serve like everybody else has been doing on you guys. Mm-hmm. The difference is going to be is, can Dak Prescott, the guy that you keep, talking smack about, making googly eyes and all that bull crap and everything else.
That really pissed
But that's
him
it.
off.
I'm happy. You
really
are looking over us.
I'm not playing.
We'll see what happens when we play the game, buddy.
Don't worry.
How do you think I'm shitting on you here? I'm not doing that.
No, not you. Not you.
Don't worry, Mark. That's okay the rest of the season. Okay, they fixed his problems. They got him these new glasses, and these glasses will show the right colored jersey so he doesn't throw an interception. All right, and it's got a time clock on the thing so he doesn't run out of time. Here we go.
All right, so let me get this off. Where the hell is it? Okay. All right, so he's sitting there. He's mad at me because I'm not talking about the Cowboys enough. Do you see what it is? He's really mad that I am not putting the Cowboys up with the upper echelon teams. He thinks the world revolves around the Cowboys. And then he tells the Eagle fans, don't bother talking about the Cowboys. I could show you videos where he says, stop talking about us, blah, blah, blah. Matter of fact, I'll show you what he said last night. You should see what he said last night. All right? I'm not talking about the Cowboys because the Cowboys aren't relevant to me. Winning the Super Bowl is relevant. They got to win. The Cowboys are a bad team. And the Cowboys, that's just the way they are, okay? Let me see if I can find this. All right, so I want to play this for you guys. You got to look at this. You guys got to check this out, right? Well, let me answer. Let me catch up here. Oh boy, David Super Chick. Salute Philly. The Birds are 40-2 under Sirianni. Wing Turbo. Holmes is Gagoots. He is Gagoots. Obey Crazy David Super Chat. He goes, did you notice when the opposing team scores, he answers right back with no issues? I think the offense can be great, but choose when to be great. I agree with you. Lucius David Super Chat. He goes, you should be so complimentary of the Cowboys and Dax on Still's show today. It will piss Mark off. Also, he'll call our defense elite. He's softening the blow. I got something for you guys. I'm gonna show you. I'm kind of waiting. But once again, 500's running circles around Mark Holmes. All right, I got this guy rattled right now. He's mad that I'm not treating the Cowboys like the Detroit Lions, but they're not. They're not on the same level. They don't. The Chicago Bear game is 1,000 times more important than the Cowboys game. Or the pickle break. Now here's what I want you guys to see. This is what Mark. Just bear with me for a couple minutes. I won't play the whole thing, but this is what Mark said yesterday, right, to Eagle fans, right? Listen to this. I want you guys to hear this hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy.
Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope you all are having a great day.
James, thank you for super
There
chat.
is no time for the Cowboys to enjoy
I want you to hear this.
the victory.
Look at his shirt, by
We
the
got
way.
a short week. Today is already Tuesday, their day off. They get back on the field tomorrow. Tomorrow's already hump day. The next day is week number 12. This season that we've waited for so long is blowing by. And Eagle fans are feeling themselves, and they're all over the place. You know, screaming, it's hate week. Where are them Cowboys? You better not lose. You better not lose, because I'm going to be going after that ass. Well, I'm going to tell you, Eagle fans, I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm not going to give you what you want, because you know what? I have to tell you, I want to be real with you. I want to be real with you. Now, tomorrow I've got the Dan Saleo show. I know Philly 500 is going to be bloviating like, you know, all of the Eagles Nation and stuff. And, you know, when you put out as much shit as the Eagles have, and they constantly do, they say the reason behind it is because we used to give them shit that they don't matter. But to this whole thing of, first of all, saying that our rings don't matter, right? Shit. I've been around in those days. That shit's made up in your mind.
He's talking about the Eagles fans talking about the rings.
If that was the case, Johnny come lately. You guys are what you claim the Cowboys are, bandwagon fans. So in this week, this short week,
listen to this,
that we have where you Eagle fans are talking about hate week, I'm not giving you what you want. I'm not.
He's not going to talk about the Eagles.
You want to act like Bobo the Fool. If you want to look like a raving lunatic, if you want to tell me the Cowboys suck ass, that they're irrelevant, that Dak Prescott is a stat master and a turnover machine, by all means, go right ahead. I'm going to actually take the high ground. Take the high ground. I'm actually going to be happy and celebrate my team. That doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about the matchup or the Eagles, but sorry, I don't need to get my hands dirty with the likes of you Eagle fans.
He just got his hands dirty.
Don't need to. You know,
he just did it.
When I first started getting caught up with you know, it was Philly 500's idea about Cop Pizzle and getting in there, and you know,
he's gonna say that I was the one that got the pizzle and the hate week going, and he don't like it. He's not there. That's not exactly what I wanted to show you, but my point is that he sits there, he talks about the Eagles. He did a fireside chat last week saying that Eagle fans, leave them alone. Don't talk about Dallas. They're irrelevant. Why are you bothering? Now he's mad at me because I'm not talking about the Cowboys. And I put a clip that happened to be a game of Jalen Hurts making a play that had nothing to do with the Cowboys. Tell me he's not a hypocrite. I'm gonna unleash on him. Jonah, thank you for the super chat. He goes, Mark thinks that they're playoff bound. That's the truth. He thinks they're playoff bound. But I knew he was going to do this. I baited him into this. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be honest with you. I baited him in this. I knew he would do this. And he just bit right into my trap again. And I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to drive him nuts this week. I knew it would drive him nuts. That's the honest truth. Destroy him. I'm going to have to. But I tell you the truth. In all honesty, I wish Leo was here. I said, I'm going to bait Mark into flipping out and doing a video on me. And I did. It worked again. Jonah Davis Super Chat goes, Mark thinks they're playoff bound. He does. What's up, Rock the Autist? Time for action. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. We live rent free. We do. I just, look, I don't think the Cowboys are that good. I think the Eagles are much better. Do they have a good offense? Yeah, they have a good offense. But they always have a good offense during the regular season. My issues with Dak, he never seems to understand it. It's like beating a dead horse at this point in time. This guy, it's too easy. They stink. But the Eagles, the bigger game's the Chicago game. Because even if you were to lose this game to Dallas, you would only still have 2 conference losses. Okay? You would then need the Rams to lose one more game, but you would still hold the tiebreaker over everybody. So, to me, that Chicago game where they're a division, they could win the division, and then they could have a home seed over you, that's way more important. Dallas week has been, I think, forever since the AE championship game. Mark acted like it's a new thing. It is. But what he doesn't like is that I don't view Dallas like they always say, and somebody said it earlier, Dallas always think that every time a team plays them, it's like Super Bowl for that team. That team is just so up because they're playing Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are that team anymore. That's the 90s. The last 30 years, they're more like the Cleveland Browns. They're more like the New York Jets. That's why I call them the Jet Boys. That's why they are and will be the Jet Boys. Always a crybaby. Anytime anybody says anything about the Cowboys, he wants to cry, corner like baby, and make 500 videos of the Eagles. Yeah, and here's the other thing. If you don't talk about them, he goes ahead. So if I talk about them, he flips out. If I treat him like I normally would, and I worry about the Eagles as a whole, he flips out. I'm not talking about Dallas enough. So all Eagle fans, troll him all week. Go at him hard. Don't let him off the hook, because he just showed you right there he wants all that smoke. So give it to him. The Jet Boys suck. They do. They're not good. James, I think I read this, but if I didn't, I apologize. He goes, if you notice Philly winning is everything when it comes down to contract. No owners pulls out the WL when they pull out the stat sheets to negotiate. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. But as a fan, I want to win, and that's the only thing I care about. Yeah, he does think the playoff ball. Bald Eagle David Super Chat. He goes, as someone who misses holidays frequently because of work, take the time, enjoy the holidays with your family. You don't get it back. Thank you, Bald Eagle. That's sound advice, man. Maybe I'll do the morning game, because it's still really early here. He has you blocked. Wow. I just wish I could show you the parts that I'm thinking of that if you watched what he says and then you watch that video, you'd be like, wow. 500, why does it look like he was touching Joe Boo? He needs to lay off the liquor, right? Yeah, he times out people. Every week on Silly, he acts like the victim. So I might have to go in there today, and it may have to be a little different. It may have to be a different kind of show, because obviously it's getting under his skin. So I may have to do something a little different today on Cilio's show. Manny Rose, favorite super chat. The Cowboys and Dolphins are the same. They choke. They do nothing. Jet Boys' only wins are the Jets, Raiders, and injured Commanders and Giants. How are they going to even think of the playoffs? I don't know. And let's be honest, winning division games are weird. Sometimes, you beat division teams that shouldn't be beat. There's no reason on earth that the Giants should have beaten us. Here's the other thing did you see what he tried to say, that the Eagles defense has been carrying them all year? The defense is ranked 17. It was like 25 a week ago. The defense was a problem early in the season. It was Jalen Hurts that was keeping us in those games. And that's what, to me, Dak can't do. Honda says, the Jet Boys only win. Yeah, they stink. Philly, the next time he says they scored 40 on Green Bay and we scored 10, make sure you remind him they gave up 40 and he gives them. Yeah, he likes to ignore that, Eagles Uncensored, what's good? What's happening? He's mad because in my video I put a clip of the Cowboys-Eagles game. That was the closest clip I had to what was at work. Crazy. Mark needs to realize what Dallas is. They're not a very good team. Mark, smooth Baron. What's that mean? Philly, call him out on blocking people like cry. Yeah, I will. Remember when I freed everybody on his channel? I don't know if you guys remember that, where I had a bet and he had to free everybody. Oh, he was so mad. He was texting me so mad. But for those that don't know, I had a bet with Mark that if he lost, he was going to have to unblock all Eagle fans. And he was so mad trying to go through that. And I said, I'm the Moses of YouTube. I led my people to freedom. If the Cowboy fans win, they'll be celebrating Super Bowl for 30 years while we try to worry about the Bears for one seat. Agreed. To me, the biggest threat to the Cowboys game is a letdown. The Eagles can't have a letdown playing in a place where they've struggled the last, 10 years. But they're really not that important. They're not more important than the Bears. Next time Mark you're asked how many points Philly put on another team. They scored more than us. Ask him what happened opening night. Yeah, he said that they scored 20. He's already like, well, we scored 20 against you. Now look at us. It's completely different teams. Jonathan, thank you for Super Chat. Philly was heard still say you glazed Jalen. Heard still said it? Yeah, I don't know. He could. If Still says that, then that means I treat him normal, because he's such a hater. And thank you for that Super Chat. They love to say we almost beat y'all. If CD don't drop a pass, ignoring Jalen Carter got kicked out, he's the most important part of the defense, in my opinion. I think he's real important. Well, I think he's important too. But remember, CD Lamb dropped that pass. But it should never have taken place, because Quinyon Mitchell dropped the game-winning interception. The game would have been over with that pick. It went right through his hands. It's crazy, man. Martin, the most sensitive YouTuber in history. He needs to grow a pair. He never puts the shirt on again. I don't know what's worse, Dallas or that shirt. I mean, think about it. He literally did a video attacking me because I didn't talk about Dallas enough. That's what he's made. He literally got pissed and made a video because I didn't talk about Dallas enough. I didn't treat them with respect. That's what he's mad at. See, they really can't accept that what they are. Jonah, thank you for Super Chat. Someone in Super Chat and Sills agreed. Oh, someone Sills. Yeah, that's fine. Last year last year Sills called me he called me the PR guy for Jordan Davis. I was Jordan Davis's public relation person. Now look at Jordan Davis. He needs the Dallas exposure he learned from Jerry, right? Nobody worried about the Cowboys. Nah, I didn't worry about the Cowboys. I'm worried about a letdown. I'm worried about, not being ready to play because you're coming off these two huge games and it's natural to have a letdown. I worry about that, looking at the game coming versus Chicago. But I'm not worried about Dallas in terms of talent for talent. Does he use a glass or swear? I think he uses a glass. So I don't know how you keep going on Still's show. He constantly has people on the show talk about, but I mean, I think, look, I'm old school. I believe that you have to talk to people you disagree with. I believe that you can't just put yourselves in these, these little things where, like, your little groups where everybody agrees with everything you're saying. I think going on and talking to people you disagree with, I think you need to do. I think people should do it more often, but I do it. I feel like at least if I go on, at least somebody's going to speak up for Hurts. Watch how they glazed Dak today. Dak had a great game against. Oh my God, but they totally didn't talk about him versus Arizona. Manny Rules, stay for Super Chat. Philly, please make Mark Holmes doll to throw. Okay? He really pissed off. He's really mad that I didn't play, that I didn't talk enough about Dallas. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter are better than Quinyon Williams and Kenny Clark. Don't let them compare the two. Oh, I agree with you. I agree. Still his best friends, Michael Irvin, Cowboys. Yeah, well, teammates. Philly 500 and Eagle fans going to be butthurt after whipping that Cowboys bring Sunday. All right, we'll see. I hear it. You realize, Wilkes, that we hear this every week, right? Every week, this is finally the game that exposes the Eagles. Every week we hear this, and it never happens. I'm just a Cowboys fan with a voodoo doll, right? Man, I just can't believe he did a video on me saying, I just can't believe he did a video on that. That's crazy. It's crazy. Anyways, guys, I do need to get going because I got some things I gotta do until that show at 1:30. So I want to thank you everybody for hanging out with me and stuff. I'm telling you right now, I'm warning you, it may be a little different on the show today. I may approach, based upon that video, I may approach this completely different, how I usually interact with them. So I'm just saying, watch out for that. My guess, and here's my prediction, Mark comes in with a prop to try to get me back. So he's going to come in with a prop to use at the beginning of the show to try to get back at me. Watch and see if it works. I feel like I'm in Mark's head. I know what he does before he does it. Mario lost the Cardinals. They didn't even talk about that, you know. All right, Boozy, I'll see you later. Yeah, talk about the Bears. Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Because I know now that it's driving him nuts. It's driving him nuts. Meanwhile, I think all the Philly fans should troll his ass. But it's definitely driving him crazy. Caitlin says, got to feel out what he's saying going fall on his ass. Yeah, I got to feel it out a little bit. But I think maybe the approach should be a little different today. Everyone that still says you has a rep monster season career next season. Right, well, remember last week? Last week, he said, who has a better defense, the Eagles or Detroit? I said the Eagles. And he started going off on me about how great Detroit's defense was. And like, I'm stupid. Now this week, the Eagles have a great defense. And, and now it's like, the Eagles' great defense is the reason why they've won all year. That's not why. People try to create narratives that aren't real. Tell him Caleb is a better. I will. He's going to bring something. My guess is he's going to do something. I just got a feeling, but we'll see. Googly eyes and a couple, here we go, should piss him off. I'll have my glasses ready. You know what I mean? Yeah, I should just, like, every time I say something, I should be like, yeah, the Eagles are better. They got to get their run game going. Here we go. Yeah, after everything I say, I'll just say, here we go. Let's do it. Let's bust some balls today. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to get out of here. I will try to have a video out later today. I might not. If I don't, it'll be out Thursday. But I want to thank everybody. I had fun time talking to you guys as always. And we're going to be just fine. With that said, peace, love yous, God bless, and I'll see yous. Don't do that, Aquila. Well, we'll see. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. But it may look different today. I'm just warning you guys. It may look different today than past weeks. Peace.
On, 2 minutes to go. You have plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott! Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You tried to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb. God. It's over. It's over, Dak. Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.
Fuck.